Customizing your domain is an important part of making your website yours. So I'm going to show you how to customize the domain and how to connect a external domain to your super site. So now that you're in the dashboard, we're going to head to the domain section. And here we have the default domain. So the default domain is the super.site domain name for your site. Here I've set mine to cams-demo, and I can change this to whatever I like. So I'm just going to change that now, and I'm going to save that. So now the domain changes up the top of the screen. If I click on that button, we can access the site from the new domain. Now, I can also connect an external domain as well, and I have an external domain over here in Hover, and that's the domain provider that I prefer to use. So we'll just go through that process now. Click on the custom domain button, and I'm going to add a domain. So my domain is advancednotion.school, and I will just click connect. Now, Super is giving me some DNS settings. Now, the DNS settings are really important because they tell the internet where your domain is hosted. And because your domain and your website is hosted on Super, we need to update this information here. So I'll switch over to, I'm just going to copy that value, and I'm going to switch over to Hover, and I'm going to add a record. So I'm going to add an A record. Now, according to the instructions, I needed to add the A record for the @ So I'm going to put @ here. I'm going to put the IP address here, and I will save that. Now, that's not the only thing I need to do. I also need to create a CNAME record for www. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to add a CNAME record. The host is www, and I put the target there. And so I'm going to add that. Now, I'm almost done. I've added the records I need to add. You can see them here. This A record here is pointing to the IP address for Super, and we have the www CNAME connected as well. But I can also see a couple of other A records. There's another A record for @ that's pointing to a different IP address, and there's another A record for star, which is everything as well. And this is what happens when you buy a new domain. It gets parked at the domain provider. In this case, it's parked at Hover. In order for my domain to connect to my super site, I need to remove both of these records. So I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to delete them. Now I've got the two records, the A record and the CNAME record. And so now I can go back to Super and say I've updated my DNS settings. Now, down underneath, Super is verifying the status of the connection, and it says verifying the DNS, and we'll just wait for it to happen. Okay, so Super has checked the DNS records and is now deploying the SSL. So you see the status message has changed to setting up SSL, and now the domain is connected. And immediately we see up here in the top of the preview window, we can see the new domain is connected. And if I click on that, we'll find that the super site is already live at the new domain. And that's it. So that domain is now connected to my site, and I'm ready to go. Remember to ask for help using the chat bubble in Super.